What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. This week, you're joined by your host, myself, Alex Fishbein. We got Dennis Clausen, Mike not with us because it's tax season, but
he sucks anyways. Who cares?
Exactly. Not that many people come here to see Mike. If we're being completely honest.
I mean, we're the two best. We're the two best looking ones.
Exactly. I mean, we got the beards going. We got the haircuts and everything. So
yeah, I have grown out a little bit though. I'm kind of winter,
Oh, hey, I got you.
Trying to keep a little insulated.
I was about to say, sometimes you got to grow it out a little bit just to make sure it's not as cold as it normally is. I just got mine cut, so I was getting burly.
I mean, not to be an asshole, but I mean, who's cutting you? I mean, what are they cutting?
They were cutting my beard. Not really my hair.
You got the beard trim, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just fucking around with my...
And shout out to your daughter here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, baby. I appreciate it.
We appreciate that a lot. Thanks for watching again.
She had a dance contest over the weekend. She did fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of dance? Hip-hop?
I have no clue.
Oh. I got you. All right. So... Oh,
it's it's like DNC.
Deanna only thinks we're okay.
Deanna, that's a nice name. Sounds hot.
Relax there. You said it's like dancey what?
It's like hip hop. She has a partner she dances with.
Okay.
I'll show you. I'll send you the video.
I got you.
I don't think the Atlantic Files people came in to hear about 9-year-olds dancing.
Probably not. I don't think that's on the top of their...
I mean, there might be one or two weirdos out there who are into that kind of stuff, but probably most of them aren't into it. So,
all right. So, in that case... and I'd also like to give a shout out to another one of my family members. Hi, Eileen. Thank you for watching. She said my laugh reminds me of my dad's laugh. So I'm going to take that as a good thing. So let's get into things here. The very first
hopefully he doesn't look like you.
I mean, I can thank the losing of my hair to my dad, so... So the very first thing that's on the top of everyone's minds, the introductory press conferences. I mean, as well as Domino's pizza.
Dude, I crushed it at Domino's over the weekend. I felt fucking awful. Felt awful.
That's exactly what... Every time I have, like, even half a pizza and the whole brownie, I afterwards, I'm just like, I should not have done that at all.
Yeah, when you sent me the thing that one time, I saw you sent me, you got, like, a medium.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you going to do with 4 slices of a medium?
I knew I was going to eat the whole brownie, so I was like, all right, let me not have 8 slices on top of it.
And your point?
I mean, I ended up having 4 or 5 slices, but yeah, I don't feel great afterwards either.
We got to move you up to the heavyweight class.
I'm not ready for that yet. I got a lot of jumping and stuff to do when I play volleyball that I still need to be able to jump for. So,
and I want to apologize to the people who were listening last week and anybody who thought that I was having a heart attack. I wasn't. My mic was way too close. I know I was breathing the entire episode, but it is what it is. So fuck it. All right, let's go.
Let's do it. As Deanna says, she says to spill the tea because she's thirsty. So James Harden, Ben Simmons, they had their introductory press conferences. they both have been quite different in terms of the route either one went when they were getting asked questions. So let's start with Ben Simmons, because his press conference was first on that day. I think it was Monday. His went at 11:30 in the morning Eastern time, and Ben Simmons was obviously asked a bunch of questions about his mental health and about how he, like, what if he could give a date when he's going to be on the court and what went wrong in Philly and so on and so forth. What did you watch the whole press conference or just bits and pieces?
No, honestly, no. But I was watching bits and pieces. But I thought, from what I was watching, the meat of it, I thought it was pretty lame. I wanted guys to come out there and just start shit talking people and be like, I'm so glad I'm out of Brooklyn. Kyrie's a piece of shit. He's not getting vet. Like, that's the stuff I wanted to hear. I don't want to hear any of that other garbage.
Right. And on top of that, it was just Ben Simmons was very vague with a bunch of answers.
Well, he's mentally, he's coming back from a severe mental, breakdown.
I mean, yes. So that's part of what I wanted to ask you about.
I was joking.
I mean, that's the whole question here is the way he talked about it. Now, I remember reading way after the fact when he finally said he had mental health issues and stuff like that there was something going on with like his sister and his cousin or something like that. And like there was some family issues and family drama in there and everything. But this was way after the fact of when he even said like, oh, I have mental health issues. So, and obviously family is, if they're like serious family issues, it's nothing to ever play with. But when he said that the Sixers fans, the coaches, the players, the front office and all that had nothing to do with his mental health and nothing to do with wanting to be traded, there's no other thought in my head other than that is a 100% blatant lie.
And nobody buys it either.
No. Like, all the quotes coming from Rich Paul and from Ben Simmons and from Ben Simmons' camp was always, oh, I can't play in front of those fans. Oh, Embiid, like, I didn't blame Embiid, so why is he blaming me? And his whole beef with Embiid. The whole thing with Doc Rivers and his quote at the end of the playoffs when they asked him if Ben Simmons could be the point guard on a championship-winning team. All this kind of stuff he has said contributed to being unhappy. But now all of a sudden it doesn't.
Yeah, that's why I hated it, man, because I was looking for a little bit of little more meat and potatoes there, and I wasn't getting anything, and that's what was kind of frustrating. I'm not going to waste my time listening to a guy, basically two guys, lie to me and the rest of everybody else. I mean, if people want to salivate, and listen to these two guys spew a bunch of bullshit for a couple hours, that's fine. I'm not listening to that. I got better things to do.
Exactly.
Like eating.
Eating Domino's.
Eating Domino's, watching TV, napping. I'm not listening to that.
Look, if we're not sponsored by like Rita's, Domino's, all these people by the time like we're done with podcasting, we have failed.
If they want to see my piece of the pie rewards, I'd be more than happy to send it to Domino's so they could see that I'm not bullshitting.
Exactly. Domino's, I used to work for you guys for a year in high school. Like, come on now.
Let's go. I'm sure they had a great 401k.
Oh, yeah. Pristine.
No, so, I mean, that's the whole thing I didn't like about it. I mean, it's good to take the high road, in some instances, but things got nasty, especially with Ben Simmons in Philadelphia. And then my problem with that is for a guy who had a, mental breakdown and wasn't in a good place mentally. I mean, like you said, that's nothing to play with, but I'm sorry. I just don't believe it, which is fine. Like, but I'd rather have had him come out early on and say, I'm fine. I just don't want to play for this piece of shit team.
Right.
Like I'm not saying they're a piece of shit team. I'm saying that's how he
From
feels.
his point of view, yeah.
I'm not playing in front of these fans. These fans suck. They turned their back on me. I'm not playing with that big idiot Embiid. He's a moron. He sucks, and he threw me under the bus. Doc Rivers has no damn idea what the hell he's doing. Like, that's what I wanted.
Yeah. No, I did too. I was hoping someone was going to throw names around at least a little bit. And then when they asked Ben Simmons whether or not he was going to play on March 10th, because that's actually what Tyler here asked, if we think Ben is actually going to play March 10th. Ben said he hopes so. I don't think he's going to play. I think he's going to come up with every excuse possible not to play. There's no way that one of his first few games back, if he even comes back right after the All-Star break, that he's actually going to play in Philly. If it was in Brooklyn, I think he would play. But the fact that it's in Philly, I don't think he will.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, there's a shot that the Nets and the Sixers could meet somewhere during the postseason.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want that type of thing being a distraction when you're entering the postseason. Get that out of the way.
That's true.
Just get it out of the way. Like, it's not going to get any better. But the first time is the worst time, so just get it out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, for his sake and for the team's sake, he might as well. I mean, at this, because that one regular season game isn't going to mean that much come the end of the season.
That might be the most important regular season game for any team throughout the entire year this season.
Oh, yeah. For both of these teams.
And I mean, I tried finding tickets. Well, there are tickets, but I'm not paying that ticket because, for one, who the hell knows if, well, for one, somebody had tickets and got rid of them. Two, I'm not getting a ticket if I don't know for a fact that all of these agents are going to be, thrown together to create a big, combustion. I'm not doing that. So, yeah.
Because, I mean, on top of it, they still don't even know if Harden's going to be playing right after the All-Star break either. I mean, he's sitting out the rest of these games, so
he's fine. He's good.
No, I mean, I know it looks like he's fine, but that they're milking the whole hamstring thing. So who knows?
Well, they can't. It's the All-Star break, but now, once the All-Star break is over with, he's going to be back to playing and then hitting up the local strip clubs down there in Philly.
Probably. Some of the strip clubs in Philly have already put up like welcome signs for James Harden and everything. So
they do that for me around here.
Oh, you're a local there too?
No,
you go for the wings, right?
They got a great lunch buffet.
Just like Lou Williams went to Magic City for the wings.
Right. He wanted wings. He had to leave the bubble and go get wings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I heard they got good prime rib there.
Speaking of pizza, Eileen says, "Come to California for good pizza."
No, thank you, Eileen. I mean, you're not going to get any good pizza. Like, the best pizza on the planet is in Brooklyn. Why am I going to fly across the country to go get something that's not Brooklyn pizza?
I mean, Chicago might want a word with you.
Whatever, Chicago. Eileen, thank you. I'm sure you're a fantastic woman. No offense. I'm just not into California pizza.
But anyway, so the whole thing, first off, I thought it was also interesting that only Ben Simmons was in the press conference. I don't remember Seth or Andre Drummond being there. Isn't it usually all of them?
Well, Paul Millsap was in the Sixers.
Yeah, he was in there. He got a couple questions.
And I think Curry and Drummond are more important to the Nets than Paul Millsap is to the Sixers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was kind of curious. I mean, I know they had a game Sunday, but it was a home game, wasn't it? Or was it an away game? No, it was home against Sacramento. Yeah,
and then they shit stomped the Kings.
Yeah. So I was really curious why they didn't even include them at all.
Because they don't want to be there.
I mean, no player really. Even Ben and James Harden don't want to be there.
Oh, sure they do.
Not sitting there answering questions.
But they love the attention.
Oh, they both definitely love the attention.
And I think more so Simmons might love the attention a little bit more.
Definitely.
Because
I'm still on record on this podcast saying that he wasn't going to be on the Sixers past his second contract. And the only thing that technically I haven't gotten wrong yet is that he was going to end up on the Lakers because he's a diva. He wants his spotlight and he wants to be around celebrities.
Well, I hear they got pizza in California.
Ben could go get some pizza.
No, he's good. I mean, Drummond, the best part of this, though, is Curry and Drummond both played fantastic.
Yeah,
they're both looking great. Drummond, I don't even know. Shame on any of these teams that need a center and didn't look to Drummond because he had like 48 rebounds and he's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, easily, we've talked about this before, easily the best backup center that Embiid has had is in his entire career.
Right, and that's gone, and that's a problem.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a big problem for the Sixers. Losing Seth is one thing because he was the most efficient shooter they had. They do have other guys that can shoot, but they're just not shooting a great percentage. Shake Milton came back for the first time in like a month and a half with lower back issues that like nobody really ever talked about. He just didn't play.
Hey, those lower back issues, no joke.
Oh, no, I agree. A back is nothing to play about. No. But it was just the fact that like there was never any news surrounding it. And usually like Philly media is like, this guy's still hurt. Why is he still hurt? Why aren't they telling us like what's wrong? And there was just kind of nothing about him. But
because they got other issues in Philly.
Oh, they got plenty.
They don't care about Shake Milton's lower back issue.
I mean, they're very worried about everyone not named Harden and Embiid now.
Well, honestly, they should be worried about nobody except for Harden and Embiid.
I mean, yeah. Well, the thing is, Seth and Drummond were two of the best role players that they had. So now it is a fact of, is Tobias actually going to give you what a max contract player should give you? Is Danny Green finally going to stop looking like he's 80 years old and running with weird crooked legs? Is Furkan Korkmaz finally going to start shooting at least 35%? There's a lot of questions now.
I mean, they need guy back like Landry Shamet. Like, they need that shit back. TLC, they got to get it back in the building. Like, that stuff is going to hurt them. They gave up a lot for a guy with so many question marks.
Oh, I mean, hell, I'd even take Hollis Thompson back because he shot 40% from three. The Sixers, they could have made a deal, really. I mean, if they wanted to move them to Boston, I'm sure they could have gotten Josh Richardson to come back and Marcus Smart and things like that. I may feel more comfortable with that kind of move. You know what I mean? Right.
But now you got a guy who, sorry, honey, you got a guy who does it. Oh, here, there she is. He, whatever.
Downstairs barking.
So you got a guy who hasn't played well this season. Mm-hmm. Doesn't look to be in great shape. Now, all of a sudden, he has a history of attitude issues stemming back to his days in OKC. It's like the Me Too movement. You know, all of a sudden, everybody's coming out and just saying, oh, well, I remember in OKC, he walked by the water guy and didn't say hello to him. And you know what I mean? They're just bringing everything up that they could possibly bring up. So now he's got that hanging over his head. So they got some issues, man. That's going to be interesting to see. Harden's got a lot of work to do if he wants to. He's had a great career. He's been one of the best offensive players ever, but he's got a lot of work to do to dig out of that hole that he's in.
Oh, I completely agree. And I mean, the other thing is too, in terms of like them digging up everything about Harden, it's weird to me that now they're digging all this stuff up out of him, but I don't remember seeing any of that when he got first moved to Brooklyn.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's all of a sudden they just couldn't wait to just try to find anything just to make a story. Right. That's the typical sports media. They're lame.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the biggest thing for me with this whole thing too is all sports media, especially national media, they were clowning Ben Simmons for the longest time. Like even up until just before the trade, the national media and everything was talking all sorts of crap about Ben Simmons, talking about all the free throws and stuff he missed. Even after he claimed mental health, they were all talking about, just like we talked about, is it actually mental health? Because all of a sudden you're bringing it up now that you want to trade, and all of a sudden, all national media is like, Ben Simmons is a super mega star. Ben Simmons is going to push the Nets into the championship for the next 3-4 years. He's this, he's that. Everyone be quiet. He just has a mental health issue. It was like,
no, what? Sorry, I'm not buying. I'm not buying that. I mean, he doesn't have a mental. He may have been down in the dumps because people were giving him a bunch of shit because he didn't play well. But that if he was really suffering that with that type of stuff, and to discredit people who actually deal with severe mental health issues, and I'm not just talking about my boyfriend broke up with me, I'm a little sad. I'm talking people who are I need some, Valium and, 4 Xanaxes to get through the day and shit like that. Not this garbage. To me, honestly, it looks like Ben Simmons just kind of threw a temper tantrum.
Yeah. Well, and the big thing is,
but rightfully so. I just don't like his approach to, I don't like how he handled the situation. Instead of saying, don't say I have mental health. Don't flip it on you. Just, I don't want to play on that team anymore. I hate everybody.
Exactly.
I would have been totally fine with that.
Or even because in the press conference, Ben Simmons talked about how he just said that franchise, meaning the Sixers, they knew about his mental health the season, the off season before that last season he played. And it was like, if you just said that there was stuff going on, or you had mental issues and stuff going on that you're working on, or you're seeing somebody at the time that it was happening, nobody would be questioning you right now.
Well, he's got to keep up. He's got to keep up the shtick so that he can get his money back. That he was, nobody wants to touch that. It's like, bro, don't come after me for money. I had mental illness. Take your ass to court. And they're like, nope, we're paying you. See ya. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's just the timing of it combined with, oh, now I want to trade. Now I don't want to do this. Now I don't want to do that. Now you're losing money. So then you have to come up with more stuff to stop losing money. And then to go back and say, oh, the fans, the coaches, the players, it didn't have anything to do with it. That makes zero sense. But James Harden isn't innocent either, as we were talking about. But as Eileen said, do we have to worry about Harden's hamstring? And then she just said she's signing off. And so thank you for watching, Eileen. I appreciate it.
Have a great night, Eileen.
Yes. Do we have to worry about Harden's
lovely
hamstring?
Woman?
And I mean, it doesn't look like Harden's hamstring really is that much of an
No,
issue.
he's going to be, magically fucking cured once he's back once he's in Philly. So he's fine.
Exactly. I mean,
but that's going to be
it's just the same thing as Simmons. They're just going to magically play, and everything's going to be good.
That's the typical NBA though. He's not going to say that he's completely healed of it just in case they want to do some load management here coming down the stretch. Oh, it's hamstring maintenance. I'm resting my hamstring. You're fine.
Yeah. And it just works out too, because the Sixers only had 2 games before the All-Star break. Then you get that extended time, and then you jump right back into things. So you just let the news cycle drown that out, and then you just start playing again.
Right, it'll go away.
Yeah, and even I will say so jumping over real quick to the Harden press conference, they asked him, why Philly? Why'd you want to leave the Nets? Whatever. Harden said that Philly apparently was his number one choice when he was leaving Houston in the first place, which okay. I was like, that's cool and all, but like that didn't happen. So saying that now is just gonna make people like, oh, cool, he wanted to be in Philly. But then he said how
best fans on earth.
exactly.
Like, yeah, come on, man.
Ride or die, best fans on earth. Hey, he's learned from Ben Simmons that you probably should have the Philly fans on your side.
Yeah, we'll see how much he thinks that they're the best fans on earth if he tries pulling the shit that he pulled in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, because Philly fans would be relentless if that happened.
Right.
But then they asked him about Kyrie, and he was like, it didn't really have an effect on him because him and Kyrie are still friends.
Best friends.
Best friends. But then he also says,
it
definitely affected the team.
Right.
So I was like, that was the whole question. And no, like, we all can see it definitely affects the team, because what team wants to play with a part-time player? And on top of that, a player that says, oh, we have to sacrifice for the team. We have to sacrifice for each other. We have to sacrifice for the greater good. If I was James Harden, I'd be pissed the moment Kyrie said that. The moment he said, we have to sacrifice for the team, I'd be like, what did you sacrifice?
Right, especially when you have, Andrew Wiggins didn't want to get the shot, and he got the shot. And exactly. When you look at how well Golden State is playing because of Andrew Wiggins, and then all of a sudden, the goal was to get Harden, Durant, Irving on the same floor. They played like three quarters together overall because they didn't play any really. And then all of a sudden, and I said before, if Joe Harris was doing that, nobody would have said anything. If Joe Harris had the skill that Kyrie Irving has, but doesn't have a history of just being a pain in the ass, this would not have been an issue.
Right.
But now, because it's Kyrie, a guy who's been catered to, and the Nets totally catered to him, totally backed down from. They tried taking the hard ass approach at first, and then they backed down, saying we're going to allow him to play in road games, which is a completely separate, different message from what they were giving at the start of the season. KD's got to be a little more vocal, though. This whole quiet, I'm not saying anything. He needed to have a heart-to-heart with this guy and be like, listen, we're here for a reason. James isn't happy. We're looking to win a championship. We're struggling. You got to get your shit together, man. Like, I know you don't want the shot, but James is out there playing with one hamstring.
Exactly. KD has to be the alpha leader because he's not in Golden State where, you had a Draymond who would get in people's faces, or like a Steve Kerr, who's this seasoned coach that has won championships and everything. KD has to be the guy. He's got to be the leader. He's got to be the one to talk sense into people.
And I would even hope I wouldn't even mind like Patty Mills go up to him and be like, Kyrie, listen. This is ridiculous, man. We're losing because you're not out there. Joe is hurt his foot, and we need you.
Yeah. So, now that KD's hurt too,
right, we need you more than ever.
Right. Seth Curry on his very first game went out there and won a game for the Nets.
Right.
You've been here.
and it's sad now because the Nets are at a point to where they can't afford this whole we need some more time to gel and blah, 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 because they're in 8th place.
Right.
And
they just got off of a 11-game losing
11
streak?
games.
Yeah. And it took 23 points from Seth Curry, a good game from Drummond. It took a bit.
Well, I'm saying I love the fact that Seth Curry's there. I love the fact that Drummond is there.
Yeah.
He's a Curry, man. It's even though he's not as good as Steph Curry, he's still one of the best players in the world.
Oh, no, I agree. Seth Curry, he's worked himself up to being like a very, very good starting player.
Right.
And I'm not going to say he's like a star or anything because
No.
obviously he's not, but he's up there with some of the best starting rotational players in the league. So,
but he adds a lot of value. And then to see LaMarcus Aldridge come back after missing some time, he's been huge for the Nets. And I like the fact that he's out there because he still has some gas left in the tank, and he's looked really well. Nico
coming back,
Claxton, but he I think they're kind of getting a little annoyed with him. His injuries. He sat on Sunday against the Kings. I don't think Claxton is emotionally mature enough to be where he's at right now, especially when you got a guy, guys like Sharp playing so well and Kessler Edwards and all those guys who played, in my opinion, outside of the one good game that Nico Claxton had this season. Those guys deserve it because guys, when those guys were playing, they were busting their ass.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I mean, now you had Cam Thomas, who got a good amount of playing time throughout the beginning of the season and everything, and he's working his way up to being a good rotational piece. So there's a lot of guys that can contribute. Seth and Andre are going to be key contributors, but yeah, it comes down to whether or not Kyrie's playing, because Kyrie, Ben, and KD, championship, one of the championship favorites. Just Ben and KD, I'm not considering that a championship favorite.
I think they have a better I think Ben and KD have a better chance than Harden and KD. When you look at, Harden was expected to score, and the whole shtick of the Nets is that, okay, we know we play fast. They're not bad defensively, but we know we play fast, and we're willing to forego some points on the other side if we can put up some points. However, that wasn't happening. And James Harden, like I told you when we were talking, I'm like, this guy hasn't done anything to adapt to the new style, the new rules, hasn't done anything. He's still stuck in his old habits, and I would rather see him just continue, jack up three-pointers. He could shoot from three. I'd just rather see him turn into that type of player.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that he could do to improve. But it's just like, I see what you're saying about even that being better than Harden and KD, but at the same time, I'm not that confident in it being.
Let's look at this.
Great.
All right, let's look at this. Okay, though, KD almost by himself basically led, and Joe Harris wasn't playing well during the playoffs last season at some points. KD was consistent especially after Irving went down with that ankle issue. KD basically nearly led the Nets past the Bucks on his own.
True.
And a lot of the problems were that you had Brook Lopez just getting boards and things like that. Well, now they got Drummond, so try that shit with Drummond and see what happens. Nobody's out rebounding Drummond. There's not one person in the league who's a better rebounder right now than Andre Drummond.
Oh, he is.
So the Nets got much needed size. They have an actual center, like a true legit center, not just somebody who is a four and is just going to slide over, and none of this small ball shit and all that stuff. They got an actual center. They have a great 3-point shooter in Seth Curry. When Ben Simmons comes back, he's not going to have to be that number 2 guy anymore. He can just focus on passing, doing his great passing. Defensively, there's not one person who could say that they are that much better. He's one of the best defenders in the entire league. And this is going to really work out well for the Nets. I think Ben Simmons and hopefully too, if he can shoot, lights out. It's over.
Yeah. After this trade and everything, according to Bovada, the Brooklyn Nets are a plus 500 to win the championship right now, which are the third highest odds, but behind Phoenix and Golden State.
I would take that.
But I'm just saying, if Kyrie is still a part-time player on the games that Kyrie doesn't play, who's the number 2 guy then? Is it Seth Curry?
Well, I think at that point it's going to be whoever it is that night.
Okay.
So as long as KD's there, and you have got, if Joe Harris comes back, which would be great, he can get hot. Seth Curry can get hot. Drummond's not a slouch offensively. Aldridge is playing well offensively. They got guys who can chip in here and there to kind of, back up KD. So I think they're going to be okay. It's just it's going to be a challenge though if anybody expects the Nets to win a championship this season.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely be a challenge, and it definitely will depend on whether or not the mandate gets lifted. And there's been talk about it.
Lift the fucking mandate already, for Christ's sake.
That there's a lot going on there. But Tyler here asks, with a healthy Harden, do the Sixers have the best chance to win the East?
No.
Even with a healthy Harden and everything, you don't think they have the best?
They're not better than the Bucks.
So say they do have a healthy Harden. Like
right.
Everyone else is healthy and everything. How do you think the East shakes out? Like, give me your top 3 in terms of like odds of winning the East.
I think the Bucks are still the best team in the East. I think Miami is one injury away from falling back down the standings. I think the Cavs are still are going to be, sniffing that 3-4 spot. But I'm not going to sleep on the Raptors right now because the Raptors have been playing well. And I'm still not going to discredit the Nets either. I think the Nets have plenty of talent. And if they can make a run. So, and if Chicago can get healthy too. So, I mean, Philly could be in the top 3, but I don't see them as being the best team in the East.
Okay. So you're putting Toronto up there that potentially could be in the top 3 and potentially could win the East.
No, hands down, the Bucks are winning the East. I don't think anybody's good. I know the Heat are slightly above the Bucks right now, but the Bucks, to me, are the best team in the East.
Okay, I mean, I agree.
They just got DeAndre Bembry too, and Bembry's, will fill that void that they had now that they're, they've made some moves on the trade market. So.
Oh yeah, and I mean, yeah, with the trade market, they also got Serge Ibaka. I mean, according to Bovada, the Brooklyn Nets actually have the highest odds to win the East right now. They're at plus 250. Then it's the Bucks at plus 275, and then it's the Sixers at plus 350.
Well, the Nets are 6.5 games back from the first spot.
Right.
That's and with Kyle Lowry, he's got when he had those personal issues, and he could be street clothes every so often, and Butler's definitely street clothes. So the Nets could make it back to the top 3.
No, they definitely can.
And with the Bulls, I mean, the Bulls probably not going to get Lonzo Ball back this season, and if they do, it's not going to be till much later. But if they can keep living.
The news that I saw is potentially late March.
Yeah, later.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like too late.
No, but I should clarify. I should say later in the actual season.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
So but in the meantime, they got to get Caruso. Caruso's still out. So they lost Caruso. They lost Ball. Those are two good players. But luckily, they have DeRozan's playing at an MVP level. Zach LaVine is playing out of his mind. Vucevic is fantastic. And then the rest of the guys are filling in well. Kobe White, good thing they didn't get rid of him. Javonte Green plays well on occasion. So their team's all right. Troy Brown, thank God he's not in Washington anymore. So
true. I mean, to me, I agree that Milwaukee, even with a healthy Harden and all these trades happening and everything, I think that Milwaukee is still the top of the East. I still think they're the favorite to win. I still think they have the best chance to win the East. And then after them, I think it's honestly a tie between Brooklyn, Philly, and Chicago. Those 3 I see as just like a tie. All of them could win the East at any moment, barring injuries or whatever it may be. But I think all 3 of them have the same amount of of chances to win the East, and then right behind them, I'd put Miami.
I still think Chicago is better than Miami.
I agree. I have Chicago above Miami too.
And I just worry about health on Miami.
That's the big thing. And so that takes us into, before we get into our last Atlantic topic, which is the Celtics, this brings us to the Miami thing. Victor Oladipo heading to the Heat's G League team for a G League assignment on his way back from his injury. Do you think that pushes them up there in like the top 2, top 3 of the East?
Well, you got to wonder what kind of Oladipo is going to show up. Outside of that, a couple good seasons he had. He's been street clothes ever since, and he hasn't lived up to. It's not that he's a bad player; he's just not healthy ever.
Yeah.
So,
for sure,
as much at G League as you want to play, he's still got some work to do if he hopes to get back into playing shape. And then these guys got to gel, and then you got to wonder what's going to happen to a guy like Tyler Hero, who's been playing well. And so, there's some question marks. In some cases, this could even hurt the team.
True. When was the last time Oladipo even stepped foot on a court?
Shit. It wasn't last year. I think it was the year.
Like 2 or 3 seasons ago, wasn't it?
Because he went to the Rockets. The Rockets held on to him for a little while.
Right. Let's see. Looks like 2020 was the last time he was on the court. He played 9 games for the Pacers, 20 for the Rockets, and then 4 games for the Heat.
Right. So we're talking, in 2017, 2018, looks like he averaged 23 points a game, shot just over 37% from deep. And ever since then, he's barely played.
Yeah. So who knows if Miami's even going to be confident enough to want to put him in, especially when it comes to the playoffs. Because if he's just getting to the G League now to start doing some workouts and light work and everything, when would he even realistically be able to actually join the actual Heat and play? And then at that point, you're getting to the last month or so of the season. So then, would you even be confident enough to play here in the playoffs at that point?
I don't think so. If they're gonna, I'd put him on the roster, but I wouldn't make him a priority to give him playing time.
Yeah, you put him in there for an emergency or for garbage time if you end up blowing somebody out at the end of game 1, 2 in the first round, whatever. But I don't think unless barring it's something amazing, I don't think he really pushes them that far over the hump or anything.
Now, if Lowry goes down and then Butler continues to miss time here and there or ride the injury list, then I would consider it.
Right. Yeah.
Because at that point, you got nothing to lose.
Agreed. So going back to our last Atlantic topic, we talk about the Boston Celtics. And to go with it, of course, Alec Walt, who we've had on the show, said 76ers
Alec
tonight because he is a Celtics fan.
Come on, honey, Alec, you're better than that. Kicking a man while he's down.
Exactly. His team destroyed both of our teams with Harden on the bench for both games.
Yeah, I'm not buying the Celtics yet, though.
Still not buying them, even with a 8 or 9 game win streak now?
No, because I'm gonna pull the old, I'm gonna pull the old Dennis Clausen. Who have you beat? And when you look at that win streak, we got the Pelicans. Okay, don't be proud of that. You beat the Heat. Okay. Hornets, Pistons, Magic, Nets, Nuggets, Hawks, Sixers. Okay, so you beat a bunch of teams, but did you really beat anybody that good? Not really.
True.
How I love to do because I'm not buying into the whole. I hate how everybody's like, "Ooh, the Celtics." We were talking about the media. They're like, the Celtics. They're back. Well, okay. When you beat the Magic and the Pelicans and the Pistons.
True.
Now, if they were like, we beat the Bucks twice, then we took a West Coast road trip and we beat the Warriors, the Suns, like, and they just dominate. Like, okay, then I'm like, holy shit, we're on to something. I'm not getting on board with this.
True.
And they're playing the Pistons tonight.
To play devil's advocate, you got to play who's in front of you.
I understand that, and kudos to them for winning. But I'm not gonna go crazy and say that the Celtics are back. I mean, let's if we beat the Bulls, if we beat the Heat, if we beat, like, good teams, then okay. But when you're beating up on the Hornets, the Pistons, the Magic, the Hawks, the Sixers without James Harden, and I mean they beat the Kings a couple weeks back, and the Wizards, like, come on, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's not many teams of note that they beat there, other than, like, the Nets and the Sixers are two good teams, but they also have
no. The Nets aren't. The Nets aren't a good team.
Well, right now with everybody out, yeah, they're not that great.
Right.
But it was also like they beat the Nets with everybody hurt and without Seth Curry and Andre Drummond, and then they beat the Sixers without Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and Harden out. So there's a lot of missing pieces on both teams, but I will say this fits in both of us.
Yeah, Alex. So how do you like that?
Both of us talked about how Derrick White was a really good addition for Boston. And as Tyler says here, Smart being injured hurts them. However, I tweeted out last night that with Smart being injured, this is going to prove how good of an addition Derrick White was or / is. And so far, Derrick White has fit seamlessly into the Boston Celtics rotation.
Well, he's one of those guys that could go anywhere.
I agree.
So, and I think I said we're going to find out just how good of a player Derrick White is, because he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And he was good. The other reason he wasn't that good in San Antonio, I mean, he was good in San Antonio, but he wasn't, like, at the level he should have been.
Right.
But it's nice, though, to see, at least in Boston, that these guys are getting along. Jaylen Brown even said after the game, I'm going to go check on Marcus and see how his ankle. That was a little heartwarming to me.
Yeah, especially after Marcus called him out.
You don't want to beat him up after a playoff game.
That was pretty heartwarming. And I'll say, if the Celtics keep trending this way, my coach of the year pick might end up coming true.
I'll throw up.
Somehow, some way, it might end up coming true. I mean, as of right now, according to Bovada, Ime Udoka's at plus 8,000 to be coach of the year, which is like, it's like 12th or 13th highest odds. It's not like he's close to the top or anything, but
I mean, but look at this shit, though. They come back from the All-Star break, right? So they're playing Detroit tonight, and then they come back. They got to play Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got to play Detroit again. How many times are you going to fucking play Detroit?
Is Detroit just on their schedule like 12 times?
Yeah. So Detroit, Brooklyn, Detroit, and then they got to play the Pacers. They suck.
Yep.
The Hawks kind of suck, depending upon the day of the week. They play the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are good. But then they go back and they play the Nets, the Hornets. Then they play the fucking Pistons again. Then they play the Mavericks. I mean, so come on. You know what I mean? Like, of course they're going to have a win streak. I mean, they got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum there too. So, but let's not go nuts here. They might move up the Eastern Conference, but they got to win in the playoffs. So let's see if they pull that shit against the Bucks.
Oh, yeah. And on top of that, this is what the Celtics should have been doing from the first place.
Yeah, I love how people are like, yeah, no shit. I mean, they were supposed to be good all along.
Exactly. They were just underperforming the entire time. And now, Alec even talked about it when he was on our show a couple episodes ago, and we've talked about it. When the Celtics start moving the ball around, they look like a completely different team. The Celtics made more threes in last night's game against the Sixers than the Sixers made shots in general. And that was because the ball was moving, crisp passes. Everything was getting like 2, 3, 4 passes before anyone shot the ball. Guys were giving up good looks for great looks. Like, they were playing beautiful basketball, and then it amounts to a win. It's like, Oh my God, who would have ever thought?
That's weird how that happens when you start moving the ball around. How that happens.
Exactly.
But then, I mean, we're gonna have see how good they are because after they play Dallas, after they play Detroit for the 19th time this year, it seems. Then they're gonna play. Then they're gonna face Golden State. Okay, so that'll be a met in Golden State. So that'll be a tough one. But then from there, all right, I'm just gonna run down the rest of the teams they gotta play. Sacramento, Denver, OKC, Utah. Okay, Utah. Minnesota, Toronto, Miami. Those are two good teams. Indiana, Washington, Chicago, Milwaukee, Memphis. So half of those teams suck.
Yep. So they realistically could finish from the All-Star break on. They could realistically finish something like with 20 wins in those games.
And they could be in the top three in the East.
Yeah.
So I guess I might have to put them in the top three.
They might now have to be a favorite to win the East.
So go, folks, go get your money and put it down for Ime for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, and right now, according to Bovada, again, the Boston Celtics are at plus 1,100 to win the East. So
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that one though. Save your money on that one.
I mean, you could try. You could see what happens.
I mean, realistically, the Celtics are only 3.5 games back of first place.
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean,
they're
gonna be in the top three.
They actually have higher odds than the Raptors and Nets to win the division.
I mean, anybody should have better odds than the Nets.
But right now, the Sixers are the favorites to win the Atlantic at minus 170. The Celtics are the second highest at plus 250, and then it's the Raptors at plus 900. Or you could go for the Knicks at plus 50,000.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't donate money. Don't do that.
Who do they say is going to win the Atlantic?
The Sixers.
I think the Celtics are going to win the Atlantic.
I mean, after going through that schedule, it seems like they
God.
could.
What I mean, the Celtics just had to make me look like shit.
I mean, I read something where like the Sixers have like the sixth strongest schedule left, and I think the Nets were up there in the top 5 or the top 7, something like that. And then with that schedule you just said for the Celtics, they gotta be at one of the weakest schedules left. So
yeah.
So they definitely have plenty of chances to leapfrog Philly, Brooklyn, and even the Raptors. I feel like they probably shouldn't have that strong of a schedule with where they ended up last year and everything. So the Raptors could even surprise some people.
Well, the fucking Celtics.
Oh man.
And that, you know, I still, even if the Celtics do have a better record than the Bulls, I still think Billy Donovan should be Coach of the Year in the East.
Yeah. I mean, as of right now, Monty Williams has the highest odds. And then JB Bickerstaff.
Actually, fuck yeah, give it to JB Bickerstaff. He deserves it.
Yeah,
if anybody deserves it, Bickerstaff. I mean, the Cavs weren't expected to do anything.
They weren't even expected to make a play-in game.
Yeah, they weren't even expected to like sniff the nutsack of the last team in the East.
Exactly. So if there's anybody, I would give it to him too, because I mean, it was like Thibodeau last year. No one expected the Knicks to make the playoffs or even get a top 5 seed.
How'd that work out for him?
Exactly. Monty Williams should have won Coach of the Year last year.
God, the Knicks are so atrocious right now.
I love it. I love seeing the Knicks be terrible.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Why?
Because it's the Knicks. Like everyone just likes the Knicks because they've been in New York the longest and like the history of Madison Square Garden. But like What have the Knicks done? The Knicks are like the Cowboys.
And I don't know if it's that bad.
But I mean, like,
I would say that the Knicks are like the Steelers on that level of annoying.
But the thing is, Steelers fans and everything aren't as annoying as like Cowboys and Knicks fans.
They're pretty fucking annoying.
I mean, I would, because to me, it's like the Lakers and the Patriots go together.
Well, the Patriots aren't annoying anymore.
Not since Tom Brady left, but I would always relate those two. And then to me, it was always the Cowboys and the Knicks, just because like, oh, history. Oh, America's team. Oh, they have, they have all this history and everything. It's like, cool. You lost to Michael Jordan a bunch, and then you had good guys way back in like the 60s and 70s. What else have you done?
Yeah, I just feel bad because they're just so mismanaged.
Oh yeah, because Dolan's a fucktard.
You like that word, don't you?
I do. It's a good word.
Did you get that from me?
I don't know. I've heard it a long time ago.
Bro, if you did, I'm proud of you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I've never been more proud of you in my life.
Tyler wanted to bring up, by the way, that the Knicks are beating the Nets at this moment.
I mean, that's not a fucking shock. Thanks, Tyler.
And then Scott said, Patriots still suck, always will. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you might not like them on a personal level, but I mean, they've been the most successful football franchise of the last 20 years.
And while we're on the topic of football, real quick, I apologize.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. My whole thing is,
apologies out there.
Well, I appreciate that so much, but my whole thing is that you can't go an entire game and not throw a flag, and then all of a sudden decide to start throwing flags in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, that I would be just as frustrated as you, because that was dumb.
There may have been some crying going on, not gonna lie, and it was like, it wasn't even like, it's hard to explain because I thought they were gonna win.
Right.
I would have rather them like lose 50-0
than give you hope.
Right. It's kind of like, like if you're going to the prom with some hot chick, right? And she's like, hey, you bring protection. We're going to see what happens. Maybe things will happen after prom, and you get a little hope, right? You start feeling good, and then nothing happens. She gets drunk and passes out, and then you get nothing. That's what that felt like to me. Like I would have, if you lose 50-0, that would have been like, we're just going as friends. You have no chance. Like then I would be like, you know what? That's cool, because at least I did get my expectations high.
Yep. That I know exactly how you feel, because that is how I will always remember Kawhi's shot to beat the Sixers. I would have rather lost that game by 30.
I thought you were going to tell me about the prom.
No.
Who you went to the prom with?
I don't care about prom.
I got to show you a picture of this girl I went to the prom with.
Okay.
I won't say her name, but she was beautiful. And she asked me to go to the prom, and I was like, honey, are you on drugs? I gotta show you a picture. She's Alice is beautiful.
I thought you weren't gonna say her name.
I'm not gonna say her last name.
Oh, okay. But so, all right. Getting back to basketball, the last.
But we just went as friends, though. There was no,
Okay, so at least no hopes up, nothing like that.
No.
So the last topic we had,
I had no self-esteem either. I was like a fat kid. Now I'm just a fat old guy.
Speaking of fat people, Zion Williamson.
Good transition.
It came out on the. Go ahead.
He's on my 600-pound life next week.
Yeah, exactly.
They got to wash him in a kiddie pool. That's how he takes his baths now.
They got to pick him up with a crane.
Yeah.
So he might.
And I love how. I'm sorry.
I was just
No, I was going to say they.
surgery.
Yeah, but I was going to say it's funny that he's on that commercial with the Mountain Dew sitting on the couch.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this is what got him into the fucking trouble he's in, anyways.
Exactly. Plus, with all the good food in New Orleans, like he's down there eating gumbo and all sorts of like crawfish boil and the beignets and everything. And he can't.
What?
The beignets? You've never had a beignet down there?
No clue. I don't even know what that is.
They're roughly like donuts.
Just say donuts.
They're like a French donut. Well, it's different than a donut because it's not exactly a donut.
So don't even put it in the same category.
It is like fried dough, like a donut is, but they're different shapes. They put them with powdered sugar and chocolate and like chocolate sauce and everything.
So it's fried dough with chocolate.
Kind of.
You know, I've never really liked fried dough that much. Like, I know people make a big deal about it, but I'm not like a huge fried dough guy.
You know, like funnel cake?
That's fried dough, right?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like when you eat fried dough, I feel like it sounds weird when I say it. Fried dough.
I know, it kind of sounds like you're saying a different form of Play-Doh.
Fried dough. When I eat fried dough, the initial taste is great because you get the powdered sugar, you maybe get a little grease or oil.
Right.
But then the rest of it's like air.
True.
And you're like, where the fuck is the rest? Like, I want like a meatball in there or something.
I mean, well, that's why the beignets are cool because they have like the chocolate sauce and stuff, and like you get them in like a paper bag, but they fill half the paper bag with powdered sugar and put the dough underneath it. So you go in and grab all the powdered sugar and get the chocolate sauce and everything, dunk it in that. Some good stuff. But anyway, Zion might need another surgery. I saw there was like a stat that said if he doesn't play another game this season and he doesn't play some portion of next season, he would actually have played 3 less games than Greg Oden in his first 3 seasons.
Is that for real?
Yes.
Wow. That's not a good comparison.
No. The last person you want to be compared to in terms of playing games is Greg Oden.
Right.
And it makes me sad because Zion's a fun player to watch. Zion is.
I don't even remember what he looks like. I haven't seen him in so long.
It honestly does feel like ages since I've seen him dunk a ball, or shoot a ball, dribble a ball, step foot on a court, not turn into a bowling ball himself.
I mean, don't you think the Pelicans, though, and I'm being 100% serious here, because you know me, I'm serious all the time. I never joke around, but remember, like, who's that fat guy in baseball? They called him the Panda.
Oh, Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah, they literally had a guy following him around, like living with him, following with him, like making sure, because he had a binge eating thing, which I mean,
like he had an actual eating disorder.
Right, and I mean as a guy, I mean I don't drink or don't do drugs or any of that shit. But the one thing I know my way around the refrigerator at 2:00 in the morning, and this fucking guy needs like in-home nursing, but guys who just watch him not eat shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you're okay with just letting him go home without any adult supervision.
Exactly. And not only that, but like until recently, he could not work out. He could not burn any calories. So he's literally just eating all of it, doing a little bit of rehab, and then going back, sitting on the couch, drinking Mountain Dew and playing video games like his commercial. Yeah,
literally he does like 5 minutes on the bike, might jump in a pool for 3 minutes, and then he's like, I'm fucking hungry. He thinks he's Michael Phelps after getting out of the pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Eating a whole pizza.
Calorie diet.
Yeah. Can somebody like get with this guy? Like he needs help. Like It's probably just like, how old is he? Like 20, 21?
If that.
He's a big boy. He likes to fucking eat. I don't blame him there, but we need somebody to follow him around and make sure he's not eating stupid shit.
Exactly. Someone get him to like Jenny Craig or something. Jenny Craig's that diet thing, right?
Do you think I know anything about diet?
Sorry, forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah, it's the wrong guy. No, but if they like, and what they should say is like, listen to me. If Zion offers you money to make a 11:30 at night Burger King run, you tell us, and we'll double what he was offering. That way, you're not tempted to be like, because you could picture Zion eating drinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
He ran out of Pringles, sour cream and onion Pringles.
Mm-hmm.
And some what the hell are those zingers? The zingers with the coconut, the Little Debbie snack there.
Oh,
they're pink.
Little Debbie ones. Yeah, I forgot
They're
about those.
Fucking fantastic. He'd probably run out of
the oatmeal pies.
Oatmeal,
from Little Debbie.
The double stuffed oatmeal cream pie and the zebra cakes and the Swiss cake rolls. And
you're making me hungry. All I have in my house is Girl Scout cookies. I don't have all that.
I don't have it either, but if you can see, it's on my mind. So if anybody can relate to Zion, it's me. But if Zion, after he's done playing my career on 2K, because that's the closest he'll probably ever get back to on the court for the foreseeable future. Hey, don't listen to him. If he wants you to go get a Texas rodeo burger from Burger King, don't do it. We'll double whatever you're paying.
Yep. And I mean, I really hope he does get back on the court because, like I said, he's one of the most entertaining basketball players that I've seen. Guy's electrifying. So I hope he gets back. But at this point, who knows? And honestly, for New Orleans, it's looking like it's going to take a while for the team to really be relevant.
They need to just shut him down for the rest of the. I mean, he's probably done for the rest of the year, but shut him down, get him healthy, get him the gastric sleeve, whatever the fuck you got to do to get weight off of this guy and get him back playing.
Yep.
I can't believe that an organization, a professional organization, can't get a guy to lose weight.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me. So that's all the topics we had. I will leave with this. It is a quick fire question here. Don't give me any reasoning. Just give me who you think, because the episode we talked about MVP, you weren't on. It was just Mike and I. Right now, according to Bovada, the regular season MVP odds, top three are Embiid at plus 150, Giannis at plus 350, Jokic at plus 350. You can either choose any of those three or whoever else it is. Who do you have for MVP rest of the season? Go.
Giannis.
Okay. I think James Harden is going to hurt Joel Embiid's MVP odds. So, yeah.
You said not to elaborate. You said just say one thing. I said one thing, and then you decided to start talking about it. So,
there's my Jokic.
Thank you.
But that's it for us, unless you have anything else to get off your chest.
I mean, I can talk about pizza, and I was saying the other day too. I'm not a big taco fan. I don't really like tacos.
Tacos.
I did go to Moe's and got a.
I mean, burritos are better, but tacos are good.
Yeah, I'm not a taco guy. That's about it. That's all I got.
I gotcha. All right. Well, that is it for us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you tuned into our live stream, we will be live streaming all of our new episodes from now on, so make sure you check those out. We will be streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter, and then our podcast.
And Mike's OnlyFans.
And our podcast will be posted everywhere you get podcasts, audio-wise, and our video will be up on YouTube. So thank you, everybody, for listening.
We're not on the dark web, though.
No, never on the dark web. That's too sketchy, too dark.
The Russians are going to hack to get North Korea. They're hacking so they can get Atlantic Files in North Korea.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing they want in North Korea is the Atlantic Files.
They need it. You see us? Those girls are desperate.
Oh my. Anyway, that is it for us. Thank you for listening to the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.